Hey, my genealogy queens. So tonight I wanted to talk about India. And, I was thinking really hard about it. And I was like, I'm really interested in making a video about, India and going into, some things with that because I live where I live at in in the place that I live at, the area, we have a lot of South Asian people here who work and go to school and, do a lot of things here. So it's a big population of South Asian people where I am at. So Indian people where I am, and I work with a lot of them. And I've actually taken on the language of Hindi to be able to communicate with them because I work with such a large population of Indian people, I feel it's necessary to learn their language. And I've been doing pretty good. I can communicate with them at a certain extent, and they teach me more things as I'm learning more, and I'm very grateful for that. Um, so, one thing I wanted to start out with was the two main languages in India. In India's two main languages is Indo-Aryan and Dravidian. And I remember learning about this when I was my freshman year of college, and it was a pretty much an Asian culture or an Asian history class. Sorry, and we went through India, we went through Southeast Asia. We really skimmed over Southeast Asia because they just didn't go through that. But we mainly stayed on Japan, India, and China. And through India, we did talk about that the Indo-Aryan and the Dravidian languages being in India. Um, we also talked about the religions, which I'm not going to say all the religions, but I'll say the ones that I picked out that were kind of mostly practiced or highly practiced. So it's, Buddhism and Jainism and Islam are a couple of the ones practiced. However, majority practice Hinduism. I think it was 79.1% practice Hinduism in India. And that was really interesting to me because it really started out as Buddhism and Jainism, what I was reading about. But I guess as time went by, they just kind of geared more towards Hinduism. So that was very interesting to me. The economy is the sixth largest economy by market exchange rates, and as of 2016, it was the second largest labor force. So this may have changed since then. They may have not updated anything on the websites, but that's the thing about the economy. And I wanted to get into a couple of things about, West India, South India, North and East India. And really with that, I wanted to kind of go in the differences of the people. And then I also wanted to kind of more and talk about, show you pictures, of course, and talk about kind of like a little bit of my kind of relation with South Asia. So you guys know that on my father's side, on the Reed and Party side, there is South Asian ancestry mixed in there. There's like a very small amount, which came from a relative named Prince. Now, I'm not related to Prince, so I don't have South Asian blood in my veins, nor did my father. But that side of the family has it from a certain line where the relative or the person whose name was Prince had that bloodline. And when you go into my relatives, which I won't because until I learn how to blur their faces out, I can't show you. I won't because that's personal, private information. But they do have traces of South Asian ancestry. And again, we take that back to Prince and his family and how that got passed down to them. Didn't get passed down to me because that side of the family I am not related on, but that does run on my family. So that was very interesting, and I still in a way had I'm not it's just in a way I had, even though it's not my bloodline, I still have a connection to it because it is part of my family history. It's not in my bloodline, so I'm not Indian, but it still somewhere has a dealing with my family history. Now, I don't know what the Party and Reed side of my family really, do they consider themselves like Indian? I don't know. Or do they acknowledge the Indian in their blood? I don't know. I just know that they do know the story of their family having that, and they have told me that. So when we get into Indian people, these are two little beautiful Indian girls, and if you look at them and you see the region they may come from, now I can't really distinguish south, north, and east, west. I know that west and south Indian people have a darker skin tone, especially West Indian people. Well, sorry, South Indian people. I know they have a darker skin tone. So they may be from West or South India. Now, East and North Indian people, they look a little more Asian and they have a lighter tone. And the reason why I know this is because the Indian friends that I have that I work with, they told me this. And when you go to North and East Indian people, this is them. So you can see the Asian influence, like the East Asian influence, and you could also see the lighter skin tone. Now, another great example, well, she's very pretty, but I'm not sure what part of India she comes from. I would assume maybe East or North India. But if you go down or up, and I found a great example right here. When you see north and south, you see a little bit of a darker skin tone. North, you see very pale. They're very pale. They're very light. So there is a difference in skin tone there. And another, even though this isn't me talking about India, but like in France, if you go to South France, they're darker than the people in North France. And that just really makes a lot of sense, because maybe up there it doesn't get as hot in North India. Just like in America, in the South, it's hotter than in the North. You know, the North gets hot, but on the winter it gets colder, you know? So it kind of makes sense, kind of why their skin tone may be lighter. You've got a North Indian man here and a South Indian man here. As you can see, the South Indian man is very dark, and the North Indian man is very light. Going back to like the seasonal changes now, India, from what I know, is always it's a hot place. Now I'm not sure if North India even gets cold, but I do know that it may not be as cold there as South or West India, or maybe they're, because people's skin tone does depend on the environment, the geography of the place. It does. If you get more sun in a place, you're going to be darker. If you don't get as much sun, you're going to be lighter. Depending on just what happens, it does depend on skin tone. So, sorry about that. It wants to be difficult. I don't know why it wants to be difficult right now, but there's another picture right here, and I'm guessing they would probably be from around maybe South or West India. And other than these pictures, I wanted to go into the clothing of the Indian people. So I'm not trying to make this video too long, but I really want, and I'm showing you more pictures, I really want to give the best information that I can on the Indian people, because I can't do too much of searching right now, because I only have like 15 minutes to do a video and I'm already at 8 right now. That's another beautiful Indian woman. But I want to give you good content information. Oh, that's a very beautiful, oh my God, Indian people dressed up for traditional festival. That is so beautiful. Oh my God. But I want to give you guys, you know, the best of the best as I can in the time limit that I have. Now, what I looked up about Indian clothing was that here it says that some of the most common traditional wear for Indian women are saris, Gagra, Koli, and Salwar kameez. The most widely worn traditional clothes for men include sherwani, dhoti kurta, bandagala, kurta pajama, and angarkha lungi. When you click on it, and I may have butchered those names, I'm just really trying my hardest to say it the way they would say it. This is some examples right there. And then here's an example of some of the men. Hopefully it clears up. It should. Yeah, it cleared up a little bit. I'm not sure what is what though. Like which is the Coley and stuff like that. It's a very beautiful culture that they have. Traditional costume and dress styles in different states. Are those Indian people? They might be, and those people may be from North and South India, but I don't think that's India. I know this is. It says, at Salon Valley in Himachal dress. Picture of Sunrise Villa, Shimla, TripAdvisor. Okay. All right. Had pretty long hair. Indian women are known to have very long hair. Very pretty long hair. So this is Punjabi traditional dress. This is Pakistan in 2019. Indian culture, Punjabi culture, Indian festivals. Wow. Let me see. About Gidiha dance, Tian Punjab, Tej, India. Tej celebration in Ludhiana, Punjab photos in the Hindustan Times. Oh, wow. That is very neat. Wow. Tej festivities, Punjab, India, Hindustan. That is so nice. That is beautiful. That's around the world, but you see an Indian man here. You see an African man here, and I'm not really sure. That may be actually an African woman, actually, but that man, that figure there, I'm not sure who that is. So that's the Philippines. So that's not part of what we're supposed to be looking at, but try to keep it in the realm of my video content. This is Amritsar Lori celebration. Lori, maybe Lori, but Lori celebrations. Wow. Well, that is beautiful, you guys, and that is pretty much all I have for you before I run out of time. I just thought it'd be really cool to do a video on India, and of course I do want to go more in depth with this. So if you have any Indian blood in you, please let me know through the comments and let me know more about what you know of why you have that blood, or if you are an Indian person of a person who is Indian, you know, you grew up in India, or you have your culture is Indian. Please comment down and let us know more about your culture and what it's like being Indian, family values, language barriers, different things in your language that are different from not just English but other languages. Many things. You could go into many things. I think that's really cool, and it's good to know more about my subscribers, even though I only have 128, to know where my subscribers come from and to know more about their heritage. I think that's really nice. So please let us know down in the comments, and if anybody just has, even you don't even need to have, you know, Indian blood in you, you could just have an interest in India and just want to comment and say about your love for it. So please do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it wasn't too choppy. Love you guys. Bye. Take care.